Now, when it comes to import facilities, uh, we can talk about three generic products available under an import line. The three generic products what we are having is one is documentary credits, then structured post shipment finance, and shipping guarantees. Documentary credits, structured post shipment finance, and shipping guarantees. Uh, okay, here I will explain to you uh, a few things. If a customer is having import loan facility, import facility of we'll say 10 million, right? 10 million facility, and we'll see how it works. Now, when it comes to import loans or export loans or whatever the trade facilities, uh, the facilities will be fixed according to the risk the bank is going to take on that particular customer. Now, for example, we must have two lines. One is general line, general limit. Other one, cash limit. General limit and cash limit. General limits normally in any bank we will say it's a IMP limit, IMP import facility limit, IMP limit. The cash limit we call IMC limit, import cash limit, import cash limit. Now, for example, if a customer is having the risk weightage of general limit and the cash limit is generally under. There's nothing to do with the other products. I'm talking about the international trade products. In general limit, the risk weightage is a risk weight is about 20%. General limit, the risk is 20%. Cash limit, the risk is 100%. If it is cash limit, the risk is 100%. That is why we want it to be covered by 100% cash. 100% cash. A general limit, the risk weightage is only 20%. Now, this particular concept you have to understand. Now, for example, I'm telling all these things is I know there are some officers in the departments, there are some managers, right, in this class, and there are some bright guys. They were very soon going to be officers or managers, right? So, whenever you visit a customer and whenever you see limit application, you should be able to understand why these RMs have done these type of things, right? Now, because of that, why we are saying import general limit is the risk weightage is only 20%. When we open a LC, Normally, the LC will be marked under IMP. LC limit will be marked, LC amount will be marked under IMP limit, general limit. Why we mark general limit? Why we are not marking under cash? What is the definition of LC? What's the definition of LC? If the documents are complied with the terms and conditions of the LC, we will pay. If the documents are complied with the terms and condition of the LC, we will pay. That's the definition, right? So that means if the documents are not complied, are we going to pay? Are we going to pay?
No.
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 No. And until we pay or until we settle either site or usance or whatever, until we settle or until we pay, do we have a control over the goods, the bank? Do we have a control over the goods?
Yes.
No.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Anybody says no?
No.
Yes, we have.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Because BL is always consigned to the bank.
Bye.
BL is consigned to the bank, so we are holding the ownership.
Yes.
Yeah, whenever we want to sell it, we can ask the customer to go and fly a kite. I will sell it. because I can do. Right? Because I can do. IMP is, that is why we are saying, we anticipate, at least if we, in worst case scenario, if we spend, if the customer doesn't come and pay, at least I can clear the goods and sell the goods at 80%, 20%. We can give another customer 20% discount, right? And at least we can recover 80%. At least we can recover 80%. So that is why, since we can recover 80%, sometimes obviously we can recover 100%. But okay, we'll look for the worst case scenario. Then our risk is only 20%. Because 80% we can recover it. Right? 80% we can recover it. So that is why.
So,
yeah.
So if it is a user's bill, payment.
Good question. Good question. Right? Now this is for side bills. I'm talking about the side bills. Right? Is that Penny there?
No, sir, Lasant.
දැන් කට්ටිය ඔක්කොම මට වොයිසස් ටික එක වගේ හොඳයි අසන්තේ හොඳම ප්‍රශ්නයක් කළේ දැන් එතකොට if it is a site one, then do you agree with this 80-20?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you agree on that 80-20. We can recover at least 80%. So that's why we are keeping the risk weight is only 20%. Right? But don't think about the usance one still. I'm still going with the side bill. Right? Now, the documents have received. Once the documents have received, now we'll have to, we have informed the customer. Customer will tell us, okay, I will come and pay. I will settle the bill. But still the uh, ship has not come to the harbor. The customer might tell you, but these are practical issues what you people are having. Customer might say, Miss Tama ship එක ඇවිල්ලා නැහනේ. Ship එක එන්නේ ලබන සිකුරාදාට එන්නේ. මං ගෙවලා ගන්නවා. But can you hold on to the payment until next Friday? Can you hold on to the payment under LC till next Friday? If you have received the documents this Friday, can you hold on to it till next Friday?
No.
No, you have to pay immediately. You have to pay immediately. Don't talk about 5 days. Yes, we are having 5 days, 5 days as per the Article 14. Even Article 14 එකේ 5 days තියෙන document check කරලා discrepancy එක quote කරන්න විතරයි. That's a payment ඒවට නෙමෙයි. අපේ customers ලා almost street customers ලා හැම especially ඔක හදාගෙන තියෙන්නේ මේක. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියන අයියෝ සර්. කොමර්ෂල් බැංකෙන් ගෙවනවනේ මේක. කොමර්ෂල් බැංකේ කියනවා අපිට තියන් ඉන්නේ කියලා. අපි කිව්වම තමයි ඒගොල්ලෝ ගවන්නේ. එතකොට මොකද ගන්නෙ? NDB එක. NDB කියන බොස්ට කියන මේක හරියන්නේ නැහැ. කොමර්ෂල් බැංකෙන් ගෙවනවා. කොමර්ෂල් බැංකේ දෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. They will not give. Right? But we never check with commercial bank. We take the customer's word. ඊට පස්සේ අපි කියනවා බොස් කියන දේ මොනවද කරන්නද ඉතින් එහෙනම් අපි පොඩ්ඩක් අල්ලගෙන ඉමු නේද? කස්ටමර් එහෙම කියනවා නම් නැත්නම් මේ බිස්නස් එක නැති වෙනවනේ. එහෙනම් අපි අල්ල ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ මිනිහා කියලා කමර්ෂල් බැංකුවට කියනවා NDB එක දෙනවනේ මට. 5 days. මේ බලන්න මේ බිලා මේක පේ කියලා මෙහෙම. දෙපැත්තෙන් කස්ටමර්ස්ලා අපි සුද්ධ කරනවා. ඔක තමයි වෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මෙතනදී we'll have to debit BR and credit nostrum. We have to debit BR and credit nostrum. Right? When we are debiting BR at this particular point, even though we are holding the documents, still the customer has not come and settled the bill. So even though we have sent the money out, stocks are clean, so we have remitted the money out, but debiting BR. At this particular point, we convert the risk into cash. The moment we do the payment, until then, at the time we open the LC, it's only 20%. We mark 20%. And until we receive the documents, it's 20%. Once we receive the documents, we debit BR and credit nostrum. Then at that particular point, the BR should be 100% cash covered. Clear? Because true that we are holding the documents, the goods are with us, but we have already parted the money. Right? So therefore, it's a 100% risk weighting. 100% risk weighting. So risk weighting plays a major role. Right? Now, if I say like this, okay. One of my customers is having IMP1. IMP1. import facility 1 එක. Right? Is for 100,000. Right? IMP 1 for 100,000. Then there's another limit, IMP 2 for 50,000. IMP 2 50,000. But these two limits both are under a combined limit of 120. There's a combined limit cap of 120. Combined limit cap එකක් තියෙනවා 120,000. Combined limit cap is 120,000. Right? Okay. Now this customer comes. Now this customer comes. මම ඔයගන්ට මේ ගණන්නේ මම මේක දින්නෙත් නැති ඒවා නමුත් මට හිතුණා මේ ළමයින්ට තව පොඩ්ඩක් දැනගත්තාම මේක හොඳයි. ඒතර ඔයගන්ට ක්ලියර් ගන්න පුළුවන්. කස්ටමර් එනවා LLC එකක් හරිනවා. හරි මොන හරි එකක් හරිනවා. අපි හිතමු දැන් LC සුත් අරින්න vehicle LC අපි දානවා IMP 1 line එකට. When other commodities we mark it under IMP 2 because we want to separate it and we want to control the two limits. Can do now? Right? So IMP 1, he comes and he utilizes 100,000. Utilization 100,000 may use color. Then he comes with another LC for import some perishable items, be onions or potatoes. He comes, right? And then we mark this for 40,000. 40,000 LC ka cannot utilization. Can we open the LC for 40,000?
No.
Why? It is within the limit now.
Available limit is only 20,000.
Available limit is only 20,000. Very good. Very fine answer, right? Available limit because there's a combined limit cap of 120,000. So the available limit is only 20,000. So these people can't open LC for 40. It should be only 20,000 we can do. If anything over that, but he can't reduce the LC, no? He can't reduce the LC. So if anything over that, then what is the remedy? These are practical things. හැමදාම department එකේ වෙන්නේ ඒවා. But you can suggest him. මේකට උත්තරේ මම දෙන්න කැමති නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා.
We request supply to increase the limits.
Applying the මේලා අපි limit එකක් increase කරන්න ලේසි නෑ නේද? දන්නවනේ බැංකුවේ පුළුවන් ද ටක් ගාලා කිව්ව ගමන් LC එක අරින්න limit එකක් increase කරන්න. ඇයි අපි මෙතන මේ 50 දීලා තියෙන්නේ? 50 දීලා තියෙන්නේ අරගෙින්දම තමයි අපිට මෙයාගේ maximum risk weightage එක ගන්න පුළුවන් 120 වලට විතරයි. 120 වලට විතරයි අපිට risk weightage එක ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක තමයි අපි මේ මේක දීලා තියෙන්නේ. එයාට කවර එකක් දෙන්න පුළුවන් ඉච්චරයි. So එහෙම තියෙද්දි are we going to increase it to 140 combined limit? No way. Unless otherwise he keeps sufficient security. Unless otherwise he keeps sufficient security, we can't do it. So what's the easiest practical way out? What you can suggest to the customer?
Part settle of the SC.
Part settle of what? මට කියන්න නම් එපා loans කියලා මම තාම loans මොකුත් නැහැ මේකේ. clean මේපා. ඒ මිනිහා පටන් ගත්ත ගමන් මේ transaction එක. No BR, no loans.
Cashback facility for the balance, keep the balance in cash in the trade margin or as an FD or something. The difference.
Oh. Cashback facility එකක් ගන්න නම් ගොක් වෙලාවට අපි ගන්න මොකද්ද practically ගන්නෙ? We ask the customer to keep 20% cash margin එක. නේද? අපි customer එක කියනවා 20% මේ 20% නෙමෙයි sorry 20,000 cash margin එකක් තියන්න. 20,000 cash margin එකක් customer තියන්න කැමති නම් then we will do it. Otherwise no. Because this is the maximum risk the bank can take on this particular customer, right? Under this category 100, under this category 50, but overall combined should be 120. So if you are exceeding that, then you have to have cash cover, right? Okay. But hari interesting. Ugla karana. The අනිත් පැත්තෙන් බලමු. Lasanthi asked the question, that is, if it is usance LC. Usance LC ගැන මොකද කරන්නේ? Usance LC ගන්න අපි මොකද්ද මාක් කරන ලයින් එකේ? IMP the IMC the which one? Is it IMP?
Sir, we can't see.
Huh?
Sir, we can't see the board. We can't see the board.
Now?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Is it IMP or IMC? If it is usance, usance means we'll have to pay. We'll pay after a period of 2 months, 3 months period. But immediately upon a acceptance of a bill of exchange, we'll have to release the documents. Once we release the documents, our control over the goods will go. So we don't have any mistake. So if we are opening a site LC, always mark IMP site LC. Right? IMP is okay. Then the risk weightage is only 20%. But if you are opening a usance LC, in that case, from the day one, you have to mark IMC. You have to mark IMC. Right? Why I am telling you this is, let's take another example. The customer is having an IMP line, that is general line, IMP general line. Of 10 million. Then out of which IMC, they have a cash line It's a sub-limit, 6 million. Customer has a cash line of 6 million, right? Now, what is the risk weightage, or what is the security we are looking for this particular limit? A security collateral loan. So what is the collateral you are looking for this particular limit? For IMC, you need 100%. Am I correct? 100% security you need, correct? Cash security. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So 100% can you agree then? 100% agree. So the IMP general line again, then 6 million kilima abhi cash limited order. Make it a coach 20 unata already now 6 million has covered. So what is the balance? IMP the balance exposure 4 million, right? 4 million link here then 20%. 4 million again 20%. 4 million again 20%. Why? Make 6 million.
220.
0.8 million. 0.8 million. So total collateral we need is 6.8 million. The total collateral we need is 6.8 million. So 6.8 තියෙනවා අපිට 10 million limit එකකට යන්න පුළුවන්. Right? 10 million limit එකට අපිට යන්න පුළුවන් 6.8 අපිට තියෙනවා නම් මොකද හේතුව මෙතන අපි 100% කියන 6 million. මෙතන ඉතුරු ඉන්නේ 4 million. 4 million වලින් 0.8 ගන්න. ඒක. Then as Lasante asked, the users fund then now we have opened a LC for 3 million. LC 3 million. 3 million can we mark the IMP line? Yes. We mark IMP line. Right? IMP line mark. Then IMP kochchara available. Now what's the available balance of IMP?
1 million.
Huh?
1 million.
1 million?
6 million. 7 million.
7 million. The method available IMP is 7 million. Agreed? Then you get a second LC, number 2 LC. Right? Number 2 LC in the Isla, another 4 million. Another 4 million. Can we open it? Can we open the 4 million LC? ඔයගලන්ට වෙලා තියෙන මේ ඔක්කොම දැන් සිස්ටම්ස් වලින් හදලා දෙනවා. throw out කරාම ඔයගලන්ට තියෙන ඒක බලන්න විතරයි තියෙන්නේ. මේවා හිතලා කොහොමද වෙන්නේ කියන එක දන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයගලන් සිස්ටම් එක දෙනවනේ. over the limit නැද්ද කියලා. ඒ ඔක්කොම සිස්ටම් එක දෙනවා. ඉතින් ළමයි දැන් මේ අර මෝඩ වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔළුවට දන්නේ නැහැ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා. එච්චර මේ පිස්සු කතා කරන අපිට සිස්ටම් එකෙන් දෙනවනේ. අපි මොකටද දැනගන්නේ? But when you become a manager or a senior responsible person, you should know what is happening. Right? එතන මේක LCA එකක් ගත්තාම 4 million අපිට පුළුවන් මේක අරින්න IMP එකේ මාර්ක් කරලා යවන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අතර available කීයද එන්නේ? available balance එක කීයද? මෙතන 3 million මෙතන 4 million දැන් available balance එක
3 million.
3 million. 3 million.
4 3 now 3 million.
3
Now
million.
අපිට යන්න පුළුවන් 3 million. available balance එක 3 million. right? දැන් මෙහෙම තියෙද්දි මේ 3 million එකේ bill එක එනවා. මේකේ bill එක හම්බෙන අපිට. So we debit PR. එතන අපි මාක් කරනවා මේ 10 million එකෙන් 3 million එක මේව කරලා IMC line එකට යනවා 3 million වලට. IMC වලට මාක් වෙනවා. ওই විදිහට තමයි අපි එහාට පැහැට යන්නේ. But when it comes to use and LC, we don't want to take that chance because we are going to lose the ownership of the goods. So because of that, from the day one, we mark only the IMC lines. IMC lines. මේ LC එක මේ 4 million එක ආවනම් මේ 4 million එක ආවනම් usance කියලා LC 4 million usance එහෙනම් ඔයා මෙතන cash line එකෙන් 6 වලින් cash line එකේ 6 වලින් අඩු වෙන්න ඕන 4 million. එතකොට එන්නේ 2 million. කෙලින්ම cash line එකෙන් මාක් කරන්න අපි usance එක. right? දැන් එනවා මේ 3 million එකේ bill එනවා. 3 million එකේ bill අහම bill settle කරන්න බෑ. bill settle කරන්න අපිට මේ IMP එකට දාන්න බෑ. PR එකට දාන්න දෙකයි available. මේ අපිට තුනක් ඕන. Then we have to ask this people to keep a margin or whatever thing or to increase the limits. එතකොට දැන් කාල් තියෙනවනේ bill end ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේක ඇරේ ගමන් මේක end ඉස්සෙල්ලා අපිට වන්න limits හදා ගන්න පුළුවන්. IMC lines වැඩි කර ගන්න ඕන. ඔය විදිහට තමයි මේ system එකේ යන්නේ. Now documented credits DC will be booked under import general and cash lines dependent on whether the bank has control of goods. That's what I have told you. DCs are marked against cash in the following circumstances. The DCs are marking against cash in the following circumstances. If transport documents are not negotiable, documents of title, or in the case of air, seaway bill, where the bank is not the named consignee. Airway bill එකක් නම් එන්නේ bank is not consigned. Seaway bill එකක් නම් bank is not consigned. In those scenarios, if the transport document is not negotiable document, then we have to mark cash from the day one. Right? The other one is when one or more title documents are sent directly to the applicant or a third party. අපේ banks කරන මෝඩ වැඩක් තමයි මේක. ඉතින් අරනකොට දානවා condition එකක් out of 3 original BOs, one can be sent directly to the applicant. එහෙම දානව නේද? customer ඕනේ කිව්වම මම අහන්නේ දානවද කියලා ඔබ දානවා. right? ඉතින් customer demand කරනවා. අර bank එක දානවා මේ bank එක දානවා ඒ ඕගලන්ට දාන්න බැරි දාන්න පුළුවන්. දාන්න බැරි කමක් නැහැ. කවදාකවත් කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් බෑ කියන්න එපා. කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් එන්නේ ඕගලන්ට එනවා ඇවිල්ලා කියනකොට කවදාකවත් බෑ කියන්න එපා. පුළුවන්. පුළුවන් කරන්න. right? හැබැයි ඔයා කැෂ් කවර් එකක් තියන්න. කැෂ් කවර් එක තියන්න. මේක මම මාක් කරන්න යන්නේ 100% cash risk එකක් හැටියට. If one document has gone directly to the customer, the buyer, he can clear the goods. Then we don't have any control over the goods. හැම එකම තියෙන්නේ control over the goods. That's a key word. Right? Then local DC is calling for delivery receipts. Local DC is calling for delivery receipts. Why local DCs are marked cash? Why local DCs are marked cash? Because they are asking for delivery receipts. Is the delivery receipt is a negotiable document? Huh? Is the postal receipt or delivery receipt, is it a negotiable document? No. Only negotiable document, transport document is bill of lading. Right? Bill of lading එක නැත්තම් ඒක ඒ transport document එක negotiable නෙමෙයි. එහෙමනම් අපි ඒවට ඔක්කොම cash මේ කරන්නේ. In the case of red clause, for the amount of pre-shipment advance, we have to mark cash. Right? Because we are parting with the goods. Bills receivable, these are shown as contingent liabilities on the bank's balance sheet. And once compliant documents are received, as an issuing bank, we need to change this contingent liability into a real liability and generate our payment to exporters bank. Why we say contingent liabilities? These are shown as contingent liabilities on the bank's balance sheet. Why it is classified as a contingent liability? Why it is classified as a contingent liability? Tamai pujida? Why contingent liability? Can ikpante? Ada mandi ikpante iwara kannattu no. Because when the definition of LC is if the documents are complied with the terms and conditions. If the documents are complied with the terms and conditions. Contingent liability. But when it comes to a BR, when you receive the BR, when we convert it to bills receivable, it will become a real liability. Real liability. Right? Because we had to do the payment to the exporter's bank. BRs are settled either by cash or some form of post-import finance prior to releasing the documents. Right. Then we'll move on to non-DC backed financing structure. Non-DC backed. There is collection. Right? Financing options in non-DC backed transactions. Hello? Are there any conversations going on? right? Okay. Financing options in non-DC backed transactions. එකක් තමයි usance collections, we call it suppliers credit, and bankers acceptance on collection bills or stabilization. We'll see how we are going to finance these two. Banks advances against export collection bills. Do you finance export collection bills? The exporter side, do you finance any collection bills? It is very risky. Financing of collection bills are very risky because there's no guarantee that you will receive the money, especially a usance one. We are not sure whether we will receive the money on the due date. Right? So this is a very high risk area. So if you are financing any collection bills, then you have to be sure about your customer. Right? Matters normally considered by banks before making advances against collection bills. Granted to finance the period between the drawing and the payment of an export bill for collection. Granted to finance the period between the drawing and payment of an export bill for collection. Right? So if the export collection bill is 90 days, then we have to do it for 90 days. Right? If you finance it for 60 days, then your customer will be in a real mess. Your customer will be in a real mess. Hello? Did anybody ask a question? Hello? Right. If you are talking, make it mute, right? Otherwise, I'm also getting disturbed. I think that sometimes I tend to think that you want to ask me something. Right? So, granted to finance the period between the drawing and the payment of an export bill for collection. අපි 90 days වලින් නම් තියෙන්නේ 90 days වලින් දෙන්න නැතුව අපෝ මෙයාට 90 days වලට දෙන්න බෑ. අපි ඕන finance කරමු 60 days වලට කියලා 60 days වලට. But you are putting that customer into a trouble because on the 60th day he has to settle, whereas he has already got 90 days. He has already got 90 days from the supplier to settle the bill. Right? එතන සල්ලි හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒකෙන්ද ඒක හොඳට match කරනවා. Pledge of export collection to have an interest in the underlying goods and the right of recourse to the exporter. Right of recourse to the exporter. Pledge of export collections, then to have an interest in the underlying goods. Advances against specific bills. Only you should advance some specific bills, not for everything, right? Then it will be easy to track and monitor the transaction. Wholesale නෙමෙයිනේ. එතකොට කොහොම selective යන්නේ. Alternatively, bank may have a separate overdraft available against total outstanding. DP bills can be booked under the general line. DP DP bills can be booked under the general line. DP bills where we do not control goods, and all DA bills purchased are booked under cash line and carry 100% cash risk. Mamanang DP bills not. I didn't want to book under the general line. Better collection. If you are advancing money, if you are funding money, if you are discounting, always make it cash covered. Now we'll see the collection product cycle of a usance collection. Usance collection, DA. DA bill like now here, between the buyer and the seller, exporter and the importer, principal and the drawee, we have the commercial contract, and based on the commercial contract, the exporter will ship the goods, right, and give the collection order to the remitting bank. Then the remitting bank will send the collection along with the covering letter to the collecting or presenting bank, right? Then they will present it to the importer, and then importer will come to the bank and accept the draft. Once he accepts the draft, we will give the documents, right? Then on maturity, the importer or drawee will come and pay the money. Once the collecting bank receives the money, they will deduct their charges and remit the money to the principal. Right? Make a users DA collection cycle. Now we'll see what about avalyze. Avalyze. අර වගේමයි කොතනද වෙනස තියෙන කියලා පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. I'll give you 2 minutes. අර දෙක compare කරලා බලන්න. කොතනද වෙනස් වෙන්නේ කියලා. කොතනද වෙනස් වෙන්නේ? උදේට බලන්න අනිත් එකත් එක්ක. I'll give you a hint and proceed again. Numbers වලින් කියලා බලන්න.
Number 8, avalyze draft.
Huh? What is that?
Number 8, sir, avalyze draft.
Number 8. Yes. Number 8 එකේදී දැන් මේකේදී කලින් එකේදී users එකේදී number 7 we make it number 7 we give the documents. Then once we give the document, we analyze the draft. Number 8. What do you mean by analyzing? What do you mean by analyzing? Again, one is the one collection karate.
Give guarantee for payment.
Give a guarantee from the
For payment.
guarantee for payment by the
Collecting bank.
by the collecting bank. By the collecting bank. By the bank like by the collecting bank. Bank right? By the collecting bank. How we are going to give the Guarantee. How we are going to give the guarantee? Draft again. කොහොමද අපි දෙන්නේ? අපි draft එක අරගෙන ඒ draft එකේ customer accept කරලා තියෙන accepted කියලා ඊට යටින් ගහන්න ඕන. You have to write the name availized කියන එක. Availized කියලා අරගෙන ඊළඟ මම යව අසන NDB bank seal එක ගන්න seal එක උඩ ගන්න. But this is important. Availized. එහෙම නැතුව case එකක් තිබුණා. These people have availized the bill, but they have not mentioned availized. Bank එක customer accepted කියලා accepted to mature on 31st August 2020. අර කම්පැනි එකේ නම ගෙවුවා ජොන්සන් කම්පැනි කියලා යාලා අසං කරලා තියෙනවා මේක. ඊට යටින් අපි දාලා තියෙනවා මේක. draft එක අරලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට දැන් මේක ඇවලයිස් කරපු draft එක නේ ඇවලයිස් කරපු draft එක නම් අපි කෙලින්ම අපිට ඕන ඩිස්කවුන්ට් කරලා දෙන්න පුළුවන්. බය නැහැ. Bank has given an undertaking. Right? Even if this guy doesn't pay, I will pay කියන එක. හැබැයි මෙතන ගහලා නැහැ කොයිලාකවත් ඇවලයිස් කියලා. Perilawan case account they are giving nothing on maturity. If this guy doesn't pay, NDB bank can say, so we have not availized. No, that we have verified the signature. We have not put availized. We have verified the signature. Then කාටද කියන්නේ? තේරුණාද? ඒකින්ද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට draft එකක් හම්බුනොත් ඒක බලන්න හැමතිස්සෙම availized කියලා ඒක තියනවාද කියලා. එහෙම නැත්නම් මේක තියනවා නම් this is only a verification of a signature. Right? People can interpret it. What's the thing? Court cases and all. Banking south, Then number 8, availized draft. Once we availize the draft, we will inform the remitting bank, and the remitting bank will immediately, they will discount it and pay the exporter. And on the maturity date, the importer will settle the bill. Okay, right. General guidelines to availization. Endorsements examined to ensure that it is indeed an availization and not a verification of drawings signature. Okay? Bank and country checked. Why bank and country checked? Why bank and country checked?
Bank risk and country risk.
Huh?
Check the bank risk and country risk.
Why? Why? If your bank has stabilized the bill, right? Then other bank, if they want to pay, number 9, less charges, api pay karna nang exported, discount karla. We'll have to ensure this collecting bank is a sound one. That time, api amaru etno. Signatures checked. Signatures checked. By signatures checked, the bank, Avalized bank has to check their customer signature, and the other bank has to check the Avalized bank's specimen signatures. Because we are going to discount the bills, right? Then confirmation tells us if the amount is large. Very important. Mama, confirmation tells us if the amount is large. These are the best practices. If you are evaluating and if the amount is large, send a confirmation telex. Send a confirmation telex. Right? Bill should be diarized for presentment at maturity. Right of recourse to export customer in the event of disclaimer. Right? Okay. Advantage of avalanche collection over users disease. Lower usage limits. Document checking not required. A correction. Document check-in not required. Purely for credit support on accepted collection. Make among document credit as financing structures. Document credit. And when it comes to structured post-shipment finance, there are two main products available for this purpose. Right? Two main products. One is loans against import, LAI, loans against imports. The other one is clean import loans, CII. Ugalanga banks then LAI the CII. What is the difference between LAI and the CII? LAI is granted to retire an import bill under a DC and denotes that the bank continues to control goods post-import. Perhaps in a bonded warehouse. Bonded warehouse is a bank there's a control. Right? Only the import general line to be marked. Where the goods are to be released on TR, the resultant LAI TR must be recorded under the import line, import cash line. Right? The majority of the banks nowadays, they prefer, rather than controlling over the goods and all those things, they prefer clean import loans, still. Right? To retire the import bill where the bank has never had control of goods. And still must be recorded under import cash line. The still again, they have nothing to do with the goods or anything. Right? මෙතන කොලැටරල් ටිකක් ඕනනම් ඒ කොලැටරල් ටික අපි ගන්නේ වෙන එකක් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් අපි හිතමු මේ කස්ටමර්ට තියෙනවා ගුඩ්ස් වගේක් කියලා තියෙනවා. නමුත් ඒ ගුඩ්ස් ටික අපි ගන්නට අපේට තියාගෙන අපි කරනවා නම් ඒක LAI එක. නමුත් එහෙම අපිට කරන්න බෑ. මේවා කන්ට්‍රෝල් තියන්න ඇවිදින්න මේ මිටිගේ මේ අපෝසස් අසරින් ගන්න ඒ මොකුත් නෑ. අපි දෙන්න කිරීම සිල් එකට සිල් එකේදී අපි another completely different security will keep it as a collateral. Property mortgage එකක් හරි මොනාරියක් අරගෙන අපි ඒක තියාගත්තා. ඒක against අපි සිල් loans දෙනවා. Right? ඒ විදිහට තමයි කරන්නේ. Shipping guarantee. What is shipping guarantee? What is shipping guarantee? What is shipping guarantee? You people knows about it, no? If you have received the goods without the documents, and if the goods are perishable or something, then how you are going to clear the goods? How we are going to clear the goods? If the goods are perishable. Still, we haven't received the documents. So without the documents, you can't clear the goods.
Copy documents. Copy documents endorse.
Copy documents endorse කරලා. Copy documents endorse කරලා delivery order එක දෙන්නේ.
With shipping indemnity.
හරි කියන්නේ. උත්තරේ හරි. හරියට කියන්නේ.
Bank give guarantee to submit the original BL and give shipping guarantee.
Yeah.
Endorsing.
The customer will indemnify the bank. Customer will indemnify the bank and request the bank to give a shipping guarantee on behalf of the customer, promising that in due course we will submit the relevant documents to you. A shipping guarantee එකක් දුන්නාට පස්සේ shipping guarantee accept කරලා පස්සේ then based on that we can clear the goods. Based on that we can clear the goods. Right? Normally the shipping guarantees ගොඩක් යන්නේ perishable items වලට එහෙම තමයි යන්නේ, but it is very high risk. It's a very high risk. The reason is this will never happen in LC bills, but for collection bills, don't give shipping guarantees. Please. A lot of people, they give shipping guarantees for collection bills. Don't do it. It's a high risk. And we don't know whether we will receive the documents or not. Right? And once we give a shipping guarantee, how long it will valid? A shipping guarantee, how long it is valid?
There is no expiry.
Yeah.
Until the shipping guarantee is cancelled, we are liable to pay at any given time.
Until the shipping guarantee is cancelled, we are liable to pay at any given time. Because of that risk, what is the collateral we are taking to issue shipping guarantees? Shipping guarantees are also a contingent liability for banks until discharge or surrender of the original BL. Original BL එක හම්බුනේ නැත්තම් ඒකින්ද මොනවාද අපි තියාගන්න security එක? And what is the risk weightage for shipping guarantees? කොච්චරද liability එක දෙන්නේ අපි? Shipping guarantee liability.
300%.
300%. Why 300%? Why 300%? 300% is because we are not sure we are getting the documents or not getting. ඒකින්ද ඊටත් වඩා important එක තමයි when we issue a transport document, right, a BL, it is receipt for goods, right, and the ownership and every title and everything, right, BL. And once we receive the goods to a ship, they will issue the shipping BL, shipping BL. Once you receive the BL, once you surrender the BL, original BL to the ports, then only they will release the goods to you. So without having the original BL, if you want to have a shipping guarantee, then your risk is marked at 300%. මේ ලංකාවට විතරක් නෙමෙයි පිටරටට මේම තමයි 300%. ඕනම රටකට මේක valid 300%. Right? මම දන්නේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ බැංක්ස් වල මාක් කරනවාද කියලා. මම දන්නවා සමහර කට්ටිය මාක් කරනවා සමහර කට්ටිය මාක් කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? අනිත් එක මට දැන් කියන්න බෑ shipping guarantee එකක් cancel කරනකොට කොහොමද ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ බැංක්ස් වල ඔයගොල්ලෝ control කරන්නේ? Once you receive the original document, you give it to the customer and ask them to cancel the shipping guarantee and bring the original guarantee to us. එහෙමද දෙන්නේ?
Oh, sir.
Oh, sir.
You are from commercial? You are from which bank?
NTV.
Lasanthi?
NTV. NTV.
NTB. Both Penny, Lasanthi, ඔක්කොම NTB ද?
Sir.
වෙන banks මොනක් කවුරුත් නැද්ද? අනිත් bank වල නෑ නේ. මට වෙන්නේ මේ NTB විතරයි. කියන හොඳ ළමයි ඉන්නේ නිකන්. බය නැතුව කතා කරන ළමයි. හරියට වැරදුනොත් කතා කරනවා. බෙල්ල ගහලා ගියත් වැඩ. අන්න එහෙම තමයි ඉන්න ඕනේ. අනිත් banks ලැජ්ජයිනේ. ඔක්කොම නිකන් defendam schooling ඇවිල්ලා වගේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ බැංකුව කොහමද? කොහමද cancellation එක කරන්නේ? අහම දෙනවද document එක ගිහලා කරගෙන ඉන්නේ කියලා? දෙනවද නැද්ද? මේ කතා කරන්නේ නැත්තේ. Right? Doesn't the penny you are doing that?
Yes, sir.
So in case if they didn't bring, in case if they didn't bring the cancelled shipping guarantee, එතන මොකද කරන්නේ?
follow up කරලා ගන්න හදනවා සර් කොහොම හරි.
follow up කරලා ගන්න හදනවා. මොන විදිහටද follow up එක වෙන්නේ?
ARM කතා කරනවා, customer කතා කරනවා. Also we have this thing like we give them a grace period for like early it was 60 days, now we have made it 90 days.
How many weeks, how many months, how many years grace period?
No, like say from the time the originals were handed over to the customer, earlier we gave 60 days, and then after that per month we charge, there is a fee also we charge if it's not
penalty,
yeah.
Penalty. That's good. Normally, don't keep. These are best practices you can discuss with your managers. These are best practices you can discuss with your managers. ඔගලන්ගේ මම දන්නේ නැහැ පුතේ මේ මම නම් බැංකුවේ මම අන්තිමට ගිහින් අවුරුදු 30ක් විතරම හිටියා out of my 45 years with this trade or any other areas. I am a person who always respect others' ideas, good ideas. Right? I always respect. ඒ ළමයි මට ඇවිල්ලා සජෙෂන්ස් දෙන ළමයි තමයි මගේ annual appraisals වල ඉහළම ඉන්නේ. annual appraisals වල ඉහළම ඉන්නේ. අර මට ඇවිල්ලා මට suggest කරනවා further improvements. Right? මේකත් ඔයගලන්ට මේ improvement එකකට ගන්න පුළුවන් එකක් තමයි මම මේ කියන්නේ. Why not you reduce the time period to 1 month? That's the best practice. Reduce the time period to 1 month, right? From the time you give the documents to the customer, right? Give them only 1 month. If 1 month වලින් ආවෙ නැත්නම් impose a penalty. මේ penalty කියන්නේ හොඳට ඇඟට දැනෙන penalty එකක් වෙන්න ඕන. හොඳ දැනෙන penalty එකක්. එහෙම කළොත් මොනවද ඔයගන්ට වෙන්නේ? The bank can earn some extra money, ne? You agree with me? The bank can earn extra money rather than waiting for 2 months. Now, if it is after 1 month, yes. Double gigaman extra money. ඉතින් එතකොට ඒක කාටද වාගේ සාක්කුවට යන්නේ නැහනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ බැංක් එකේ පොකට් එකට. බැංක් එකේ තමයි බෙනිෆිට් වෙන්නේ. අපේ ප්‍රොෆිට් එකට යන්නේ. මේ එහෙමනම් ඒ වගේ ළමයින්ට අපි සලකන්නත් ඕන. නේද? ඒ වගේ සජෙෂන්ස් ගන්න. තව එකක් තමයි do the customers, do they, once you give the original document to them, do they cancel it and bring it to you immediately? Do they cancel it and bring it to you immediately? Or again you have to give reminders?
කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා සර්.
කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවා. නොකරන කට්ටිය.
Yes. ඉතින් සමහරවිට මේ ලොකු companies වල එහෙම they are not bothered. They don't ඔය දැන් අපි ගන්න penalty එක උනත් ගානක් නෑ.
ඒ කියන්නේ පුතේ penalty එක මදි. ඔය තමයි best practices. When I was at HSBC, I re-engineered the entire HSBC. Even at Standard Chartered, after I came back to Sri Lanka, 10 years with HSBC overseas, I did a re-engineering project review at Standard Chartered. They also I recommended these things. Kahandona, I think I got then in there. Ulu Atagala, Pita Atagala, Talugar Hariane. Within the Kahandona, within the government, you can make right? Nothing Gana Kitin. Tawai Hondeka Apikaran Punagata, Mama Kalatina, Mage best practices. The banks will ignore Ulangi banks. There are people who have worked in the bank and then retire. Retire, 55 ali. Even nothing early retirement ganno. BRS early retirement still they can work, right? Mama karanne ewa gekkine bike එකක් තියෙන කෙනෙක් මම employ කරගන්නවා. Employ කරගන්න කියන්නේ permanent නෙමෙයි. අපි එක shipping guarantee එකක් cancel කරන්න අපි 250 rupees දෙනවා කියලා. 250 rupees දෙනවා නම් මම දවස් දෙකකට සැරයක් විතර වගේ cancellation ටික එකතු කරලා මම call එකක් දුන්නාම he will come and collect it immediately in the evening. He will bring it back, right? Customer can charge karna 500 rupees. Customer can 500 rupees charge karna for cancellation. We give 250 to that guy and another 250 our P&L. And customer get liability reverse. When the customer's liability reverse, his limit utilization will go up. What am I customer can know? Otherwise, we are going to block this 300%. Liability 300% block. Customer utilization, right? The name the buy big customers the killer best practices. The gun customer within the Gahandona, and think
So, but do all shipping lines give the, now if we take the original BL and go, do all the shipping lines give the cancellation?
Yes.
And of course, there is some penalty that they have to charge or something.
Penalty in you're right. Delivery order.
Customer shipping line charges.
That's very, very rare case. Very, very rare case. Right? Very, very rare case. And shipping lines are also, they like this idea because their liability is also getting reversed. For them also, it's a liability. Right? What is
the liability? What is the liability they have?
Why? When they receive the goods from the exporter, they give a irrevocable undertaking to the exporter that they will deliver the goods to the correct party. බලන්න මේ BL එකේ පිටිපස්සේ කොහොමද ගහලා තින්නේ කියලා. BL එක අරගෙන අනිත් දවසේ කියවලා බලන්න. Then they will deliver it to the correct party. Right? Now here, without producing the BL, they are delivering the goods. Right? When they are delivering the goods, that is why they are charging us 300%. Liability 300% liability. Original document they will claim us 300%. 300% claim historically මට හම්බෙලා නැහැ. This is one of their අපේ නෙමේ banks වල හින්දා නෙමේ මේ 300% ගන්නෙ. Not the banks, it's a requirement by the shipping company. Shipping companies requirement. It's not a bank requirement. Right? ඒක තමයි අපි මේ කරන්නේ. අනික ලංකාවේ අපි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් 6 years වෙනකම් මේක තියාගෙන ඉන්නවා. shipping guarantee cancel උනේ නැත්තම් ඊට පස්සේ උනත් අපි ගන්න මට 6 years වලට පස්සේවත් මං I have never come across ඉච්චර කල් තියන් හිටියොත් ඉතින් blacklist do you know that even the shipping companies will blacklist the banks as well as the customer දෙන්නම banks would blacklist මොකද අනවශ්‍ය දෙයක් කරන්න ගිහිල්ලා under LC කවදාකවත් වෙන්නේ නැහැ this will happen only under collection ඒකයි කියන්නේ collection වලට දෙන්න එපා කියලා shipping guarantee මම නම් දෙන්නේ නැහැ collection වලට shipping guarantee දෙනවා කියන්නේ 100% cash cover 100% cash margin එක කරන් දුන්නේ නැහැ කිමුකෝ මොනව කරන්නද those people are like Shylock, they are asking only the £1 flesh. They want the BL, nothing else, not the cash. They want the BL because we have given an indemnity that we will submit the BL. It's right. 100% margin cash margin right? You know what ගන්න කල්පනා කරලා බලන්න මේ ඇත්තද බොරුද කියලා මේක ඕන හරියටම කස්ටමර්ට BL එක එන්නම ඕන කැන්සල් වෙන්න ඒක ෂුවර් කරන්න තමයි ඩිස්කරේජ් කරන්න තමයි මේ 300% ඒගොල්ලෝ ගන්න that's a requirement මං හිතුවේ මම ලංකාවේ ඉන්න කාලේ I thought this is only for Sri Lanka කියලා no everywhere in the world it is 300%. Right? And don't give shipping guarantees on collection bills unless otherwise one of the good customers. Right? Arakat suggest Kalabalanda to get a services of one of our retired guys. They have done not take he has some faithfulness towards the bank. දෙකතුනම තියෙනවා. යාරත් කීයක් හරි හොයා ගන්න මිනිහත් නිකන් ඉන්න එකේ අපිටත් නිකන් ඉඳලා යනවා අපේ liability එකක් ටක් ගාලා invest කරලා දානවා. Most of the time once you release once those people clear the goods they are not bothered to get this thing cancelled. Right? So facilities block කරලා තියාගන්න තියෙනවා. Okay. Then export facility products. One is pre-shipment facility, loans against exports, LAE, that is packing credits, manufacturers advances, right? Then granted against a DC confirmed order in our customer's favor. Packing credits are granted against a DC confirmed order. DC or a confirmed order in our customer's favor. Normally we give, when we give packing credit, 60 to 80% of the DC or order value. Why we are not giving 100%? Why we are not giving 100%? Oh, lazy question among every. Why we are not giving 100%? Why we give 60 to 80% of the DC or confirmed order? Because it's a we are giving a loan, so interest is also getting added up. If we give 100%, by the time we receive the money with interest, it will be going up to. It might go up to 115%, 115 or 120 or 110 or whatever. But anything over 100, but we are getting only the 100. Then there's no money to cover our profit, interest again. Interest cover ගන්න බෑ. ඒ නිසා අපි 60 විතර දෙන්නේ. එතකොට අපිට ඊටු ටික cover කරගන්න තියෙනවා. Duration matched to latest shipment date. Latest shipment date එකට match කරගන්න ඕන. එතන එහාට දෙන්න එපා. Booked under the cash line as the DC or confirmed order provides comfort only, and the bank has no control over the goods. We have to book under cash lines as the DC or confirmed order provides a comfort only. Even for me, I make a candy take a time, I make a very important. Confirm order at Hari DC for me, just a piece of paper. Just a piece of paper. We will give a pre-shipment advance of 80%, but we will not do the shipment. Then no transaction. We won't get the money. Whereas my exporter has already got 60% or 80%. So he is not bothered whether to ship it or not. You got my point, right? So therefore, you have to be very careful. The red clause DCs, no facility required by our customer as we take issuing banks risk and providing pre-shipment advance. This red clause also pre-shipment advance, but here we take the issuing banks risk. We don't have to bother about my customer's risk. These negotiations, that is post-shipment. Once you ship the goods, then you hand over the documents to the bank for negotiation. And provided documents are in compliance with the DC terms, the bank is taking the issuing bank's risk. And no facility limit is required by our customer. The customer doesn't want any facility limit. We will negotiate the bills. Right? I can remember when I took over trade operations in Middle East, HSBC, at that time, for them, the negotiation means after they receive the money, to give the money to the exporter. That is negotiation. It's all wrong. Negotiation means without marking the customer's limits, we take the responsibility and we discount the bill. Right? We give the value. We give the value. That is negotiation. The bank has to take the risk. Right? Only we have to take the bank risk and counter risk, and then we can give the value. Right? Non-compliant documents negotiated under letter of indemnity or reserve represent a risk in our customer. If the documents are non-compliant, still the customer, if the customer insists you to negotiate, then you can ask them to give you a full indemnity, 100% indemnity. Once they indemnify the bank, then you can take a decision. Otherwise, don't touch. If you have a confirmed the DC or accepted document, thereunder we have no recourse to our customer in the event that negotiated documents are rejected by the issuing bank. If you have a confirmed DC or an accepted document, then we have to take the risk. Right? Right. Another export financing part, that is invoice financing. That is invoice financing. I will explain to you, all these things are there. invoice financing ඉවර කරලා ඉවරලා අපි පොඩි break එකක් ගමු මේකත් ඉවර. I will explain to you. You can see the board. Huh? You can see the board.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have the customer. Right? Here is my customer. He supplies goods to the buyer here. Right? Okay. Examples come easy. If we say CFC කියන්නේ මම ගත්තේ කාගේල්ස් ෆුඩ් සිටි. කාගේල්ස් ෆුඩ් සිටි or කේල්ස් මොනවාද එකක් අපි ගමු. කාගේල්ස් ෆුඩ් සිටි ගමු. කාගේල්ස් ෆුඩ් සිටි එකට කස්ටමර් කෙනෙක් මේවා සප්ලයි කරනවා. අපි හිතමු මැලිබන්. Melbourne, right? They supply Melbourne biscuits to CFC. Will they get the money immediately? No. Normally, it will take about 1 month, 2 months credit tamai megula denne. So once they supply the goods, they will give the invoice. They will give a invoice, accept the invoice, and to be paid on such and such a date, they will give you the payment will be done on such and such a date. They will give the invoice. It will take maturity 2 months. Right? So this customer is now, my customer is now blocked for funds. So then he will come to the bank. What he will do, he will come to the bank and ask us to finance. Ask us to finance the transaction. So what we will do is we finance 70 to 80% of the invoice value, finance 70 to 80% of the invoice value, and give money to the customer. On the due date, this guy will give the, and we are getting only the copy invoice, right? Original invoice is with the customer, right? Then on the due date, this guy will do the payment. They will do the payment. They will do the payment, and once they do the payment, this guy will settle the outstanding to the bank. This guy will settle the outstanding to the bank. This is one way of invoice financing. Another way of invoice financing is sometimes the bank, customer and the buyer, Cargill Food City, among 3 parties, they have a tripartite agreement. So based on the tripartite agreement, instead of giving the payments to the customer, they will send the payment to us. They will send the payment to the bank. Then the bank will settle all their dues along with the interest and give the make up the balance to the customer. ඉතුරුලා තිබුණොත් කීයක් හරි ඒක අපි මෙහාට දෙනවා. ඔය ක්‍රම දෙකටම invoice financing වෙන්න පුළුවන්. Right? Under an invoice discounting arrangements, the seller presents copies of the invoices to the invoice discounter against which finance is provided. Usually 80 to 90% of the face value of invoices are financed. Seller remains responsible for managing the sales ledger by sending original invoices to the buyer, monitoring receipts of goods, chasing late payment. Right? මේ ඔක්කොම කරන්න ඕන කවුද මේ? Seller, customer, Melbourne. Sending original invoices to the buyer, monitoring receipts of funds, chasing late payments. ඒ ඔක්කොම මෙයා කරන්න ඕන අපි නෙමෙයි. Right? On receipt of payment, the seller pays what is due to the discounter of the invoice, plus charges and interest, and retain the balance. Right? The lender providing an invoice discounting service will have to consider whether the seller can be relied upon honestly and promptly to account for payment received. The seller's credit control and sales ledger departments have the necessary experience and system in place. The buyers are known to the bad list or based in a country from which obtaining payment is difficult. In the මේතික අපි බලන්න ඕන මෙන්න මෙයාගේ කස්ටමර්ගේ මෙල්බන් එකේ කොහොමද sales ledger management එක. Because we are not doing any, the bank will not handle any sales ledger issues, right? It is up to the customer to go behind these people and get the money, right? So for that they have to control, they have to manage the sales ledger, right? ගාන ඩයරයිස් කරලා ඒ විදිහට යනවා කියලා බලලා තමයි කරන්න ඕනේ. නැත්නම් මේක ෂුවර් නැති මිනිහෙක් නම් අපි කවදාවත් invoice financing කරන්න බෑ. මම when I was at Asset Land, we did, that's one of my good revenue, හොඳම revenue ආවේ invoice financing. අපි හැම එකම හොයලා බලලා touch එක යන්න ඕන. If this guy plays out or if this guy plays out, we will get affected. Right? ඔය ටික cover කරගන්න ඕන. Right. Okay. Shall we come back in 15 minutes time and we will finish factoring? And one thing I want to tell you, next week I will be out of Colombo and I won't be able to come for the classes, so there won't be any classes next week. Only next week, right? After that, as usual, 1:15 we are having the classes. Okay? ආපහු මතක් කරන්න. දැන්ට ඔයාලට මම කියන්නේ මට අමතක වෙන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා. Right? Okay. We'll give me about 10 minutes or 15 minutes so that I will come back. Next export financing option is factoring. I mean, invoice financing also most of the banks are doing, and factoring is another tool where we can finance the exporters. Here I have explained in invoice financing, we give the copy invoice to the bank, the financier, and factoring is a little bit different than the invoice financing. If I explain to you, in the domestic factoring, I will explain to you. We have a customer, like invoice financing, and we have the buyer, right? Then between these two people, we give the goods, and then they will give the invoice. They will give the invoice. This is number one, this is number two. And the factor or the bank is here. The customer will give the invoice to the bank. This is original invoice, not a copy invoice, is it? Original invoice. Original invoice to the bank or the factor. And then the bank or the factor, they will diarize it, and then on the due date, normally in practical scenario, about 7 days before the due date, they inform the buyer, this party, to send them the payment. So these guys will send the payment. Number 4, they will send the payment direct to the bank, not to the customer. Right? They send the payment direct to the bank, and then the bank will settle all their dues, and whatever the remaining, they will give to the balance. Remaining, they will give to the customer. This is factoring. The difference between the invoice financing and factoring is, invoice financing, they give the copy invoice, and the sales ledger is managed by the customer. They follow up with the buyer, and they get the payment, and then settle the outstanding of the bank. Here in the factoring, the sales ledger management is done by factor or the bank, right? We call it bank, you can make as factor. Or the bank, they will do the sales ledger management. And follow-up matters, they do directly with the buyer. They'll give the original invoice, then they get their money, finish. Right? Number 4. Funds, 70 to 90%, they get. Right? Make a paha, make payment again, make a higher. Right? Their charges are high. Unlike the invoice financing, here the charges are high because the customer doesn't want to get involved in the sales ledger management. That will be done by the factor or the bank. Right? So, in other words, this guy doesn't want to have a staff for follow-ups and everything. They don't want. Everything will be done by these people. And when a bank is requesting, there's a better control. That is why factoring is different from invoice financing. This we call domestic factoring, right? There are two types of factoring. One is domestic factoring, other one is international factoring. In Sri Lanka, the majority what's happening is domestic factoring. But we have to learn about the international factoring also. Domestic factoring, known as invoice financing or invoice discounting, relates to commercial transactions between the two parties located in the same country. It is generally undertaken on with a recourse basis. Now, international factoring is a little bit different. That will be between the two parties, right? Between two parties. We have import customer. Sorry, the seller, exporter or seller. Buyer. Buyer is in another country. Here we have exporters bank. And here importers bank. Right? Now, between these two parties, we have sales agreement. Based on the sales agreement, right? They will sell the goods here. And then they will receive the invoice for that. They will receive the invoice for that. Right? And then the customer seller will give the original invoice to the exporter's bank. Once they receive the invoice, either they can send it to the importer's bank and ask for the money, right? Or now we have certain facilities like I-Factor and all those where systems are there. I-Factor system, we call it I-Factor, a famous factoring system, I-Factor, right? They inform the importer's bank. Right? Either they send the invoice or inform. Then importer's bank knows this is Sri Lanka, this is UK, right? Now importer's bank knows when is the due date and all, right? The entire parties all have signed the agreements, so they know importer's bank is acting on behalf of the exporter's bank, right? So on the due date, they will inform the buyer and the buyer will give them the payment. This will be followed up by the importer's bank, not by the exporter's bank, right? This follow-up parts will be done by the importer's bank. And then once they give the payment, they will deduct their charges. The charges are high. They deduct their charges and send the payments to exporters bank. And their charges are also high. They deduct that one and do the payment to the customer. Right? This what we call international factoring. This is good for open account trading. Right? Then this guy doesn't have to wait till he gets the money from the buyer and he is not sure. Now here he gets some assurance. Right? So this is international factoring. Advantages of factoring is factors are experts at collecting and chasing up unpaid invoices. These people are experts in collecting and chasing up with unpaid invoices. The cost effective to the seller. For the seller, it's cost effective. Right? Financing the working capital needs of the trade cycle will be straightforward. Cash flow is more predictable because of the immediate advance against invoices. The moment they give the invoices to the exporters bank, if everything is correct, they will immediately do the payment. Right, madam? Mr. Ram, within this invoices, payment take karna. Okay, 8 is 5, 6, 7. Right? Then, without recourse factoring provides a guarantee against bad debts. Without recourse factoring provides a guarantee against bad debts and saving on sales ledger administration. This guy will save money on sales ledger administration. This management will be done by exporters bank as well as the importers bank. Right? Disadvantages: the book debts in the hands of factor reduce the net asset of the business. Because they have passed the book debts to the factor, and that because of that, they reduce the net assets of the business. A factor whose service standards are poor can impact adversely on the commercial relationship between the seller and the buyer. A factor whose service standards are poor. If this guy, whose service standards are poor, they are like thugs. Some other banks, right? I have come across. They have appointed certain outsourced people to recover their money. Recovery right? They have outsourced people. And if these people have utilizing such people, then they will go and threaten the buyer and there will be big how. The relationship between the buyer and the seller will get spoiled. Right? It gets spoiled. So a problem at the end of the factor will not be able to deal with queries about the underlying goods or services supplied without reference back to the seller. Now, if this guy has some queries, he can't do anything unless otherwise he has to go back to the exporter's bank and then go to the customer and then get the answers to those queries. Right? There will be a delay. Another damage delay already look what now. They may be spoiling the relationship between the buyer and the seller. Right? Then export factoring and invoice discounting comparison I have given. I'm not going to discuss word by word. You better go through it, right? ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේක තියෙනවා. හැබැයි මේක exam එකට ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. මේ comparison එක. Right? ඒකින්ද very important. පස්සේ කියන්න එපා මම මිස් කළා කියලා මම දෙකම කියලා දීලා තියෙන්නේ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට දැන් next week මම නැති එකත් එක්ක අඩු ගානේ next week එකේ පැය 4 මේ session එකම ආපහු බලලා මේවා ඔළුවට ගන්න. Right? Who can benefit from factoring? Factoring is particularly suited to a company which export consumer products on open account terms, upon calling QR, experiences occasional cash flow restrictions. If the company is expanding, they need more cash. එතකොට factoring කරලා පොඩ්ඩක් වැඩියෙන් ගෙව්වත් කමන්නේ. ඉක්මනට they need cash flow. Right? Factoring business gain a momentum because in Asian countries we have seen there's a rapid rise in the open account trade in Asia. Because of that, in principle, factoring has rapidly gained in popularity in the region over the past few years. Right? Then another financing option is forfeiting. Forfeiting, the word forfeiting means a fixed price. A fixed price, right? So we can forfeit bills of exchange, promissory notes, bank accepted draft under usance DCs, deferred payment obligations, obligations supported by bank guarantees or a standby letter of credit, and we do it without recourse to the exporters. Without recourse to the exporters. I will explain to you what is forfeiting and how forfeiting is happening. Then it's easy for you to understand. Any clarification you need, further clarification on factoring? Otherwise, I'm going to the other topic, forfeiting. Normally, the forfeiting will be done with large amounts. අපි පොඩි amounts අපි forfeiting කරන්නේ නැහැ. And for forfeiting, it's a very, very sophisticated instrument. So because of that, without your experience and reliability, you can't touch it. In my case also, I have not done any forfeiting because at the HSBC and at Standard Chartered, the board, international banks, I have done forfeiting. But what I have done is to refer it to our head offices, London. They have a dedicated unit for forfeiting. They're experts. They know about the banks, they know about the risk, everything. So they only do the forfeiting. And we can't do it. We are not supposed to do it. Other local banks, I have worked for about 2-3 banks. I don't think they never heard of forfeiting. Any bank is doing forfeiting, students? Banks forfeiting කරන කට්ටිය ඉන්නවද? Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
මම නිකන්ද දැන් කතා කරලා තියෙන්නේ. Off වෙලාද? ඇහෙනවා yes no answer එකක්වත් දැන් ඉච්චරයි මට ඕනේ. මට forfeiting කළත් එකයි නදත් එකයි.
කරන්නේ නැද්ද කොයිද
මම
සදා?
කළත් එකයි නදත් එකයි හම්බෙන්නේ. ඉච්චරලා මං කියවා මං තාලත් උලකට කතා කළා. right. මම හිතන්නේ
ආලත් නෑ ඒ කියන්නේ කරලා
forfeiting කරන්නේ
නැතුව.
නැහැ. forfeiting කරන්නේ big bills ඕන. අඩු ගානේ US dollars 1 billion, US dollars 500 million, US dollars 500 million කොහෙද අපිට බිල් එන්නේ නේද? ඒ වගේ bills තමයි ලොකු amounts තමයි අපි කරන්නේ. මම කියන්නම් කොහොමද forfeiting වෙන හැටි. Okay, if you have a bill of US dollars 500 million bill එකක් තියෙනවා. දැන් මේක ඇවිල්ලා LC bill 180 days or 360 days DA. Right? 360 days DA. 360 days DA කියන්නේ ගොඩක් කල් ඉන්න ඕන මේ සල්ලි ටික එන්න. So now the customer wants to come and forfeit it. The exporter wants to forfeit the bill. That means he wants to sell the bill, the value, right? So he will, abhi tumu yaake bank එක bank of Islam කියලා. Bank of Islam කියලා. Bank of Islam කියනවා I want to discount this bill කියලා. Forfeit, discount run ඕනේ කියලා. The Bank of Islam doesn't want to discount it because one is the amount and other one is 360 days. DA. If it is DA, we don't do it, but if it is avalized, yes. If it is avalized bill, we'll take the bank risk and the country risk, and if it is avalized by a good bank like HSBC, International Bank, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, or the banking avalized color, I'm going to buy another. Okay, yeah, no. And now the Bank of Islam or the main party, what they will do is they will inform few banks and tell them, okay, there is a bill we want to forfeit. Would you like to take a share? Would you like to take a share? Then definitely they are going to get this money after 360 days. Okay? එතකොට අපි තුමු banks පහක් විතර මේකනේ deal එකට join වෙනවා. ඒගොල්ලෝ deal එකට join වෙලා ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා you say commercial bank. Commercial bank will say, okay, I will take 100 million. 100 million වලට commercial bank ගන්න කැමතියි. But not 500 million. That's too much for them. Then SCB, they say, okay, we also buy 200 million because they are an international bank. They have the know-how and everything. They are not bothered. They are ready to take 300 million. Then HSBC will join. Right? HSBC will say, we will buy 50 million. Right? Another bank will say, okay, Bank of America, right? They will say, another 50 million. CI, RCI. Then the Bank of Islam, they got the in the bank, they will take the balance. Right? And Now these people will quote prices for the ticket. They will say, okay, for 1 year, my interest rate is 6.25%. Let's say a risk and everything, they will charge 6.25. Right? SCB will say, we'll do it at 6%. HSBC will say, we also do it at 6%. Bank of America will say 6.2%. Right? එතකොට Bank of Scotland එක බලනවා. යන්නේ දැන් මේ කස්ටමර්ට මේ එක එක ඒවෙන් පෙරත් කරලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ කියනවා 6.3%. Right? මේ ටික ඔක්කොම මේ කරලා අපි මේ කස්ටමර්ට Bank of Scotland as a main party, they will collect all this money and discount this particular bill. මෙයාට දෙනකොට මේගොල්ලෝ කියනවා Bank of Scotland ගියේ හරි 6.3 ගාන මම දෙන්නම් කියලා. 6.3 ගාන මම දෙන්නම් කියලා. 6.3 ගාන දෙන්නම් කොහමද මේගොල්ලන්ගේ හම්බෙන්නේ? මෙයාට දෙන්න ඕන 6.2, මෙයාට 6, මෙයාට 6, මෙයාට 6.25. Bank of Scotland මෙතන පොඩි ගානක් කට් එකක්. Right? And this is the way forfeiting is happening. Clear the one day forfeiting a code that people are nigga. Make 100% under LC users bilatna apikarano. Under LC users bilatna aid balanona bank risk and country risk. On the due date, if they doesn't get the money, kapoti. Right? And when they do it, they will do it without recourse to the customer. So they check everything and then check the risk. It's very risky. Right? So forfeiting terms, buyer status, financial standing of the guarantor, the bank or the government institution, supporting the buyer's obligations, country risk, and the size of contract. By forfeiting, you can read it. So, in summary, we have covered all the methods of payments and financing part, and pre-shipment and post-shipment financing, and with recourse and without recourse financing. Right? Within the APO important, my that very, very important. That is, when we are doing the financing, before that, you have to ask all those questions, relevant questions from the customer, and then only you have to plan out the financing part. Okay? Now, all these things we have discussed. Now, we have to go for the exercises, sums in financing options. Right? මේක අපි දැන් ඉගෙන ගත්තේට වඩා පොඩ්ඩක් වෙනස් වෙනවා. මේ අපි මෙච්චරලා කලේ we learned about the theory. Right? Now, though, practically, how we are going to allocate these limits and how we are going to structure the limits. Right? So, for that, I have given some examples. Some skip එකති අපි එකක් දෙකක් ගණන් කරමු. කරලා ඉවරලා what I will do is Wednesday. By Wednesday, I will try to upload. I will ask Menaka to upload some more sums. I will upload some more sums to the system. ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඒ ගණන් ටිකක් කරන්න. කළාට පස්සේ මම ආවට පස්සේ not the next week after that we'll do another one or two and we'll discuss about the how to solve those exercises, right? Okay. Now, මේක නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ print එකක්වත් අරගෙන මේක තියාගෙන ගණන් ටික හදන්න ගන්න. හදන්න අරගෙන අපිට කරලා ඉවරලා මට එව්වත් කමන්නේ. ඒතර මට ඒක check කරලා බලලා ගන්න පුළුවන්. right? අනිත් ටිකත් මම දැන් බලලා තියෙන ගොඩක් ඒවා මට ගේන්න අමතක වුණා. right. Structuring of trade finance facilities. Can you read this question very carefully? Fortune Limited. First you read it, then we'll do the sum. මේක හැබැයි ඒසි එකක් මේ හරියට නිකන් මහේ ශිෂ්‍යත්වය වගේ ගානක් මේක. ඒව නෙමෙයි දෙන්නේ. අද අපි ඕලෙවල් විතර එනකන් කරනවා ඊට පස්සේ එලෙවල් එහෙම ඊගාවට එන්නේ. කියවද? යෝල ඔලුවට ගත්තද? Once you finish, let me know. This is a typical transaction of one of your customers. Your customer is an importer, and he imports monthly single import shipment of $100,000 under LC terms. Payable 90 days DA terms. 90 days DA term එක මම ලියලා තියෙන එකත් ඉතර හරි නෑ ඒ වචනේ කරන්න එපා. 90 days usance terms, right? 90 days usance terms. DA එන්නේ collection එකටනේ. under LC නේ. Goods are expected within 2 months after establishing the import LC. Generally, it takes 120 days to convert goods into cash. Once the goods reach the reach Colombo. It takes another 120 days to get the cash. Right? The clearing charges and custom duty for each shipment is 25% of the bill value. All overhead expenses will be borne by the client from his own funds. You are required to structure a package of facilities to meet the customer's requirement, especially each type of facility and the revolving limit needed for each facility with reasons. Always you have to give reasons. It's very important. You have to give reasons also. And when I am doing the sums, I will not write the reasons, but I will tell you the reasons. Then ඔයගොල්ලන්ගේ හැම කෙනෙක් ගාම පොතක් හරි පෑනක් හරි ඒ ටික තියාන ඉන්නවද නැද්ද? පෑනක් තියනවද? තියෙනවනේ. එහෙනම් තියාගෙන ලෑස්ති වෙන්න මම කියනකොට මේ description එකත් ඒකේ ලියන්න. Right? Okay. And now what we have to do, the very first thing, read it very carefully, and then before we start doing the facilities, we'll have to draw the trade cycle. මම කරන විදිහට කරන්න ඔයගන්ට වර්ධින්නේ ඊට පස්සේ ඔයගන්ට හරි ලේසි වෙනවා මේක. Right? We have to draw the trade cycle. Trade cycle එක අපි draw කළාම මෙතන ගන්න draw straight line. Draw straight line. Right? And this is my customer. What's his name? Fortune Limited.
Sir, board එක පේන්නේ sir.
Okay?
Okay.
Fortune Limited. Right? Then our customer Fortune Limited. දැන් මම ඒක මම මාක් කරලා ඉවරයි. මේ ඔක්කොම මේ කිදින් ටික මේක මාක් කරගන්න ඕන. Amount and terms, monthly single import shipment of $100,000 under LC terms, payable 90 days DA terms. Right? දැන් මෙයා shipment එක ගන්නවා. When the ගන්නේ he has to import. If you say from China, monthly single import shipment of LC, RNS site LC the users there.
Usance.
90 days. 90 days usance. Usance LC for US dollars 100,000. US dollars 100,000. LC will be paid 90 days DA terms. Within the 90 days being given down. Right? 90 days being given down. Goods are expected within 2 months after establishing the import LC. The import LC area to pass within the within the end. 2 months, you know. After establishing the LC, it will take entire 2 months. The 2 months in normally in most of the cases they will say in the pro forma invoice you have to open the LC at least 2 weeks or 1 month before the shipment came up. 1 month before the shipment, because these people have to prepare that, they have to manufacture the items. So 1 month before the shipment they have to open the LC. Then the shipment will take another 1 month. So altogether 2 months. ඒක දාලා නැහැ. නමුත් මේක අපි ගෙලින්ම 2 months කියලා තියෙනවා. ආවට පස්සේ Generally, it takes 120 days to convert goods into cash. And make a cash now. Cash sound in the method the picture and all. 120 days, right? That is 4 months, right? 120 days means 4 months to convert goods into cash. But 90 days DA terms. 90 days DA terms. The moment we receive the thing, here, we have to settle the bill in 90 days. Within 10 or 90 days. 90 days, sorry, they have to be a payment. We have to do the DA payment after 90 days. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes. We have to do the payment after 90 days. But to do the payment, we don't have money. Because we will get the money only after 120 days. Right? Make up 90 days can 3 months neither. Until months, make up my months limit done. 90 days they must come on there. Right? Okay. Then the clearing charges and custom duty for each shipment is 25% of the bill value. Clearing charges custom duty 25% of the bill value. Bill value is 100,000. Custom make it in 25% can $25,000. $25,000 and clearing charges custom duty. All overheads expenses will be borne by the client from his own funds. And overhead expenses, they will be borne by the own funds. You are required to structure a package of facilities to meet the customer's requirement. Especially each type of facility and the revolving limit needed for each facility with reasons. Assume $1 is equal to LKR 180 kilo. Then this is very important. First, you have to draw the trade cycle. A trade cycle like under passe, Ghana, Bavenda, then Hatanda Bulan, Kisi Arthur, nothing. The me Ghana Balandon is there. Cobba Mithana, Marker Liver. Yes, straight line again. Cobba Marker Liver, Ghana. The technical theory make a hurry to Makila then. No?
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Now we'll see what are the limits. Limit number 1. Limit number 1. Limit number 1 ne kamukat done? Api danne no. Issuance of issuance of 90 days DA LC. 90 days DA LC. right? මේක තමයි first limit එක. එතකොට කොච්චරද limit එක දැන් මේක හදන්න කොහොමද? දැන් බලන්න monthly single import they want. මම දැන් කියන එක හොඳට ඔළුවට ගන්නවා නම් හොඳට ඔළුවට ගන්නවා නම් මෙතෙන් තමයි ළමයි වරද්ද ගන්න. monthly single import shipment. Every month they have to have one shipment, import shipment. And when we open a LC, how long it will take the goods to come? Once you open the LC,
2 months.
2 months.
2 months. මේ ළමයි දෙන්න විතර දින්නේ මේ කිදෙනෙක් කියලා ඉන්නවද දැන්? පිරිමි ළමයි ටික ඔක්කොම ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලාද? වචනයක්වත් නැහැ. Right? Then it will take 2 months. But they want monthly single imports. එහෙමනම් how many LC facilities they need? Issuance of 90 days LC. What is the amount? US dollars $100. Into how many times? ඒකට අපි කියනවා lead time කියලා. Lead time. LEAD, lead time. Lead time කියන එක හරි important word එකක්. Once you open the LC, it will take 2 months to receive the goods. But within that 2 months, you have to open another LC, isn't it? You have to open another LC. Otherwise, the next month, after you receiving the first shipment, the second shipment and the end, මාස දෙකක් යනවානේ. ඊට පස්සේ LC කැරියෝ. එහෙම බෑ. අර LC එකේ බඩු එන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා මේ LC කරලා 1 month යනකොට අපි තව LC එක අරින්න ඕන. ඒ ආගමන්ට් එක තේරෙනවද ඔයගන්ට? මේ LC එක අරලා 1 month යනකොට අපි තව LC එක අරින්න ඕන. මොකද මෙයාගේ එක මාස දෙකකින් එනවා. අනිත් එක ඊගාව තව මාස දෙකකින්කොට මේ මෙතන දෙනකොට අනිත් එකත් එනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ හැමතිස්සෙම for them to open the LC, මේක තමයි LC facility එක ඕනේ. ඒ වගේ key වරක් how many times they want. First, one will take 2 months. Every month they want. Therefore, US dollar 100 LC කීයක් අරින්න facility එක ඕනද අපිට?
දෙකක්.
Very good. ඒක තේරුම් නැති කෙනෙක් ඉන්නවා නම් මට කියන්න දැම්ම මොකද එතනින් එහාට යන්න බෑ. මේ යන්නේ මම මේ කරන්නේ මම කියන්නේ grade 5 scholarship exam එකේ ගානක් වගේ තමයි මේක. මේවා නෙමෙයි exam එකට එන්නේ. ඉතින් grade 5 එක මෙහෙම නම් අනිත් එක කොහොමද ලියා ගන්න පුළුවන් නේ. ඒකින්ද මේක පොඩ්ඩක් තේරෙන්නේ නැත්නම් දැම්මම කියන්නේ. grade 5 එක හරියට කරගන්න නැත්නම් ඊගාවට අපි කරනවා grade 7 කරනවා grade 8 කරනවා ඊගාවට කිලින්ම අද O level වලින් නවතිනවා. right? එතකොට US dollar 100 into 2. And make a very important. How many times can I get? Take a method then. Make a lead time maker. When you open, it will take 2 months. But if you need every month, you know, you again 100 days they got carried. I have a tuna kill them. Safe side killer. Safe side to them. You have to keep the security. Lazy ne. Charlie Tinaman Karnay. But they is business karane. They go for the minimum. Make Samanai US dollars 200,000. That is LC facility. But in dollars. Assume $1 is 180 rupees into rupees 180. Here they can. But the facility rupees in the pay. Here. Medical again about
36 million.
36 million. What is the maker? Anita?
Yes.
Yes. Right. 36 million. Right? Now, they have an LC limit again. Then, limit number 2. Make a mother figure. Within the hour. Within the hour, what was a badu? Another badu hour first ticket. Now we want to clear the goods. To clear the goods, what they wanted to do?
Clearing and
Huh? Do they have to settle the bill? Then documents take bank with young in it.
no.
Then
loan එකක් ගන්න.
loan na ganda.
Duty payment.
Loan na ganda na within the loan na ganda onne. What the make ego kirati second second point again.
Clearing
Amount
and
and terms.
clearing and customs.
And custom
Pay.
paid clearing charges and custom did.
No. Point number 2
Acceptance.
Acceptance. It's a nuisance LC. Within the hour, you have to accept the bill. And number 2 is acceptance of the import bill. Acceptance of import bill. Make the second limit taken. Acceptance කරන්න මෙතෙන්ට අහම අපි acceptance කරන්න ඕන. කොච්චරද acceptance කරන්නේ? කොච්චර කාලයකට යනවද?
90 days.
90 days. Now what's the amount of the bill? US dollars 100,000. 100,000, huh? 100,000 into what's the lead time?
Sir, can't see the board. Can you please?
පල්ලෙහා පින්නේ නැද්ද?
පල්ලෙහා පෙන්නේ.
Then පේනවද?
Okay.
Huh?
Now can see.
Yeah, right, okay. How many times? What's the lead time? දැන් උඩ පේන්නේ ඈ. ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් අඳගන්න ඉන්නේ. ඒකින්ද ගන්න නැහැ. 3 times. 3 months. Every month there will be an acceptance. Every month there will be an acceptance. So until we do the payment of the first acceptance, that is after 3 months. So the lead time is 3. US dollars 300,000 into 180. Here දැන් ඉන්නේ. 52 then. The 54 then. Rupees. Very good. 54 million then.
54 million.
Yeah. Rupees 54 million. Rupees 54 million. Right? Nambana Mingana Podiunata, which limited may unknown of the laptop. There's a limited then none of 36 million. Right? He got acceptance limited then none of 54 million. I'm not going to make run the bear. Then what is the third one? Limit number 3. Now after 3 months, the first bill have to be settled. After 3 months, the first bill have to be settled. Then you have to settle කරන්න සල්ලි තියනවද? settle කරන්න සල්ලි තියනවද? එයාට සල්ලි නැහැ settle කරන්න. එහෙමනම් එයා මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? එහෙමනම් එයා මොකද කරන්න ඕනේ? Now he wants a loan. මොකක්ද අපේ loan එකට කියන නම? import loan එක නේ. අපිට import loan එක ඉල්ලන්න වෙනවා බැංක් එකේ. මම මේක erase කරනවා. limit number 1 ළමයි ඔක්කොම ලියාගෙන ඉවරද? ළමයි ඔක්කොම ලියා. එහෙනම් මම මේ මේක ඒදී නෝ කියනකොට මගල ඉවරයි.
Can you write it down? පල්ලෙහාම ලියන්න පුළුවන් දට ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා ගාන පේ.
තව එකක් කියනවා. තව එනවා. ඒක ආවේ කීයද? මට මතකත් නැහැ. US dollars 100,000 into 2 නේ. right. මෙතන limit 3. අර පේනවද ඔයගොල්ලන්ට? limit number 3. මේක පේනවද?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
පේනවනේ? මම තව පොඩ්ඩක් කරගෙන. right. එතකොට මෙතනට අපේ ඕන short term import loan. Short term import loan facility. Short term import loan facility වල දියන්නේ. ඒක අපිට කොච්චර ඕනද? amount එක US dollars 100,000 into how many times? සල්ලි එන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා කොච්චර ඕනද? For how many months? මේ third month අන්තිමට තමයි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. එතකොට තව 1 month.
1 month.
තව 1 month වලින් අපිට සල්ලි හම්බ වෙනවනේ. මේක 3 months මෙතන 1 month. right? 1 month වෙනවා. එහෙනම් මේක into 1. Into 1. Hey, after 1 month, you get the cash. Once you get the cash, you will settle the loan. Once you settle the loan, then again for the next bill, now your loan is open. Now that limit is open. You can utilize it. After 1 month, again you will get the third shipment. Third shipment again we make up clear. Gante yanna පුළුවන්. US dollars 100,000 into 180. Come on, rupees 18 million. Rupees 18 million. ඇයි මෙතෙන්ට 1 කියලා ගත්ත එක ඇයි කියලා තේරෙනව නේද? මෙතන lead time එක 1 month. Right? Okay. Then after that you get the cash. ඒ cash හම්බුනම මේවා ගෙවිලා යනවා. Then another one මම මෙතනින් ලියන්නම් එහෙනම් මේක. Limit number 4.
The fairness.
can't see that.
The fairness.
Then pin. Then
හරි.
limit number 4. Right? Limit number 4 එක මොකක්ද ඕනේ අපිට? තාම මොනවද අපිට ඕනේ ඒකට? දැන් ඔන්න මේ ටික නම් හරි. goods වල ඒවා ටික. තව එකක් තියෙනවා.
Clearing charges and custom.
Yes, clearing and custom duty. Clearing and custom duty. Right? Clearing and custom duty කොච්චරද අපිට එන්න ඕනේ? 25%. 25% කියන්නේ 100,000 වලින් 25%. ඒකට අපි මොකද්ද දෙන්නේ? ඒකට මොකක්ද දෙන්නේ? import loan එකක් දෙනවද? import loan එකක් දෙනවද? අපි import loan එකක් දෙනවද?
ඔව්.
ඔව්. කවුද කිව්වේ?
own funds වලින් කරන්න බෑ.
නෑ own funds නෑ කියලා කියනවනේ.
TOD sir.
Right. either TOD නෙමෙයි පුතා අපි දැන් මේක permanently යන එකන්නේ. හැමදාම යන එක අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් either OD facility or loan එකට කියන නමක් තියෙනවා මොකද්ද?
Short term loan.
import loan නෙමෙයි. It is nothing to do with imports. මේව යන්නේ imports. අරකට යන්නේ short term. එතන limit number 4 එක අපිට ගන්න පුළුවන් either overdraft
Short
or
term.
STL short term loan. Short term loan එකක් ගන්න. OD or short term loan to settle custom duty. ඒක ලියන්න ඕනේ as to settle custom duty. OD or STL short term loan එකක්. imports කියන වචනේ ගන්න එපා. US dollars 25,000 into how many? හැම මාසෙම එනවනේ. කීපාරක් කරනවද මේක? first එක settle වෙන්නේ ඉස්සෙල්ලා
2 times.
2 times. හරිද? මේක ඊගොඩ shipment එකක් එනවා. මෙතන shipment එකක් එනවා. මෙතන shipment එකක් එනවා. මේ මාස තුනට 3 පාරක් එනවා. එතන තව එකක් එනවා. කොහෙන්ද 2 times අරන් කරන්නේ? කස්ටමර් ඉතින් යන්න ඕන 4 වටේ හිඟා ගන්න වෙන බැංකු වලට. නේද? හරිම ලේසි මං කියන්නේ අර ලීඩ් ටයිම් කියන එක උඩට ගන්න. කොච්චරද ලීඩ් ටයිම් එක ඉස්සලාම සල්ලි හම්බෙන්න කොච්චර කාලයක් යනවද? පළවෙනි එකේ සල්ලි හම්බෙන්න. ඒකෙන්
4 months.
4 months යනවා 120 days. එහෙනම් ලීඩ් ටයිම් එක කීයද? 4.
844.
US dollars 100,000 into can rupees 18 million. Rupees 18 million. Right? දැක්කනේ? දැන් අපිට කොහොම මුළු ගානම කවර් කරන්න. දැන් වලට පේනවද බෝඩ් එක ඔක්කොම? බෝඩ් එක පේනව නේද පුතේ? උන්ට ඔක්කොම ගෙදර ගිහිල්ලා.
ඔව් සර්. ඔව් සර්.
එකෙක්වත් නැහැ. ඒක නෑ මේ ළමයි නම් හොඳයි. මේ ළමයින්ට එක්ක මම ආසයි වැඩ කරන්නේ. හරි මම ටිකක් හරි කතා කරනවා. කැම්පස් එකට වඩා ගොඩක් හොඳයි. කැම්පස් එක නම් වැඩක්ම නැහැ. right. මේකේ මේ දැන් බලන්න මේ චූටි ගානේ මේ පහේ ශිෂ්‍යත්ව ගානේ කොච්චර ෆැසිලිටිස් තිබ්බද? 1 2 3 4 4 ෆැසිලිටිස් තියෙනවා. right? කොච්චර මිලියන්ස් ගානක අපිට කවර් කරන්න වෙනවද? right? දැන් මේකේ ක්වෙස්චන් එකක් මොනවද තියෙනවද? නැත්තම් දැන් යන්න දෙවෙනි එක ඔගොල්ලෝ කරන්න. උගන්ට කරන්න ඇරියට පස්සේ මම කරන්නම්. TCP limited. ගාන හොඳට කියවන්න. කියවලා කරන්න. මේකේ පොඩි adjustment එකක් කරන්න ඕනේ නැත්නම් උගන්ට අමාරුයි මේක කරගන්න. Our customer TCP Limited, business importers of electrical items, amount and term monthly single import shipment of $100,000 each month under LC terms, payable 90 days from the date of shipment. DC to be issued DC to be issued 45 days නැතුව 30 days කියලා දාන්න. ඒක හදාගන්න. DC to be issued 45 days නැතුව 30 days දාන්න. නැත්නම් මේ odd figures එක ගන්න ඉර වෙනවා. 30 days prior to the date of shipment. Goods will be received by TCP Limited 30 days from the shipment date. Right. කරන්න පාන්න ගාන. ඔගොල්ලෝ කරන්න තනි. ඊට පස්සේ මම කරනවා. විනාඩි 10කින් ගාන ඉවර ගන්න පුළුවන් ගානට. First you have to draw the trade cycle. Trade cycle එක අඳින්න ඕන පළවෙනි එක. අඳලා ඉවරලා මාක් කරගන්න මුළු ගානම ටක් ගාලා එකේ. උගන්න මේ මෙච්චර උගන්නන්නේ when you are visiting with RMs, when you visit a customer, මේ වගේ issues තමයි එන්නේ. Very similar issues. එතකොට අර magic වගේ RM කියන කෙනේ අහන් ඉන්න නැතුව you should be able to argue with them and you should be able to support them. Then only ඔයගොල්ලෝ recognize වෙන්නේ. recognize වෙන්න විදියට වැඩේ කරගන්නවා. මම ඉතර මාංශ ඉන්නේ ඒක. right කරන්න බෑ. TCP Limited and the ඔයගොල්ලෝ අසන්ති ඇන්දද?
ඔව් සර්.
හරි. okay. අපි දැන් බලමු. හරි කරදරයක් දැන් ඔයගලගේ වෙණියේ ඔයාගේ නන් ටික කටපාඩම් කරනවා නේද? මොනවා කරන්නද අනිත් තුන් එකකවත් කතා කරන්නේ නැත්තම්? right. ඒ කතා කරන ළමයින්ට මම වැඩිපුර ලකුණු පහ පහ දෙනවා කොහොමද එක්සෑම් එකට. බයෙන්ද මම නම් ඒ නන් ටික ලියාගෙන තියන් ඉන්නේ. එක්සෑම් එක ඉවරනට පස්සේ කතා කිරීමට 5යි. Our customer TCP Limited, then business importers of electrical items මම ඔය ටික කියවනේ අරක 45 days නෙමෙයි DC to be issued 30 days prior to the date of shipment which will be received by TCP 30 days from the shipment date. Monthly overhead expenses that the bank is required to finance amount $5,000 from the date of receipt of the first shipment. They are required to structure a package of facilities to meet them. මේකේ B එක අලුත් එකක් අපිට B part එක. ඒක අපි ඉස්සලා ගන්න හදලා ඉන්න කරමු. right අනින්න පේනවද නැද්ද උඩ ඉර පේන්නේ නැද්ද?
දැන් okay.
It's okay. Now, our customer TCP Limited business importers of electrical items amount and terms monthly single import shipment of $100,000. $100,000. Right. Each month under LC terms payable 90 days from the date of shipment. 90 days from the date of shipment. උදේ උඩ ගන්න. ඉතල ගන්න වගේ නෙමෙයි. දැන් මේකේ term එක වෙනස්. 90 days from the date of shipment. මෙතනදී 90 days ගත්තොත් වැරදි. From the date of shipment වෙන්න ඕන. දැන් මෙතන අපි දානවා date of shipment. Date of shipment. Date of shipment මෙතන. අපි අරින්න ඕනේ DC to be issued 30 days prior to the date of shipment. 30 days. 30 days කියන්නේ 1 month. 30 days කියන්නේ 1 month. 1 month prior to the date of shipment. Goods will be received by TCP Limited 30 days from the shipment date. Within the badu India now 1 month. Right? Then goods are sold immediately in the local market for 120,000 on 90 days credit terms. 90 days credit terms. The cash champagne 100 after 120 days. 120 days can I pay that month in the one either. Is in a coma. Is that taken by that? 4 months. 4 months, you know. Right? Goods are sold immediately in the market for 120 days. No, sorry. 4 months remaining. අටවහගෙන ඉන්නවා. මේක විකුණන්නේ 120,000 වලට. විකුණුමට how many months?
3 months.
3 months, not 4 months. 3 months. Right? එතකොට monthly overheads වෙනවා ඒක අපි වෙනම දාගමු. US dollars overheads ඔනේනවා. Overheads වෙනවා US dollars 5,000 per month. Per month. Right. දැන් බලමු අපි කොහොමද මේක කරන්නේ. දැන් මේක acceptance එකක් එන්න ඕනේ. within the accept කරන්න ඕන. ඒ acceptance එක කවද්ද අපි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ? acceptance එක කවද්ද අපි ගෙවන්න ඕනේ? After how many months?
2 months from the ship.
2 months.
After 2 months. Very good. මෙතන 1 month ගිහින් ඉවරයි already මෙතෙන් එනකොට 1 month ගිහිල්ලා. තවත් 2 months ගියාම මෙන්න මෙතෙන්දි තමයි payment එක කරන්න ඕනේ acceptance payment. Right? Acceptance payment එක කරන්න ඕනේ. දැන් ටක් ගාලා ලියන්න. First එක පළවෙනි limit එක එනතන facility කියලා ලියුවත් කමන්නේ. Facility issuance of import LC. Usance LC ne? Usance LC. What's the amount? US dollars? 100,000. Into? What's the lead time? What's the lead time? What's the lead time?
2.
2. LC කරලා මෙතනට එනකොට 2 months යනවා. ඇයි අපි lead time එක 2 months කියලා දාන්නේ? දැන් හැම month එකෙම අරින්න ඕන නම් මෙතෙන්දී acceptance එක අපි accept කරනවා. first bill accept කරනවා. bill accept කළාම acceptance liability එකක් create කරනවා and LC liability will be reversed. LC liability will be reversed and acceptance liabilities created. එකයි වෙන්නේ මෙතෙන්දී. right? එතකොට මේකේ 2 million නෙමෙයි 2 times එකපාරම ඕනනම් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ගාන කරන්න පුළුවන් රුපියල් වලින් ගන්න පුළුවන් නම් වැඩිම 180 මෙච්චර දෙන්නේ 54 million නෑ
36 million.
36 million rupees 36 million. Right? Second facility. Second facility. Got it.
Acceptance.
What is second facility ගන්නේ? අපිට දෙන්නේ වෙනවා acceptance එක කරන්න ඕනේ නේද? අතන බට් ටික ආවට පස්සේ acceptance of import bill. US dollars 100,000 into here.
2.
Monthly single import shipment. So much of the lead time?
2.
2 times.
2 twice. Right? 2. Very good. Is 36. Yeah. Right? The paid on that. Third decker. Third facility. The regarding on acceptance payment. Short term import loan. Short term import loan to settle accepted bills. $1 million. short-term import loan to settle accepted bills. Example, US dollars 100,000 into the lead time again.
1.
Huh?
1.
1. Well, 2 months will give the payment take karanda. So අපිට සල්ලි දෙන්න තව මාසයක් යනවා. එහෙනම් 1 month එකේ ඇති. 1 into 180 is 18 million. Number 4, Tamalad.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
In the question, it says that we are selling the goods on 90 days credit terms in the local market. So will that affect?
So 90 days credit in the sense, when we receive the goods here, we will be getting the money after 90 days.
Yes, but it says the goods are sold immediately in the local market for USD 120,000 on 90 days credit terms. 90
days credit terms. So the moment they receive the goods here, they will sell the goods in the local market immediately.
Yes.
Same day or the day after that.
Right. Okay, I got it. Yes.
Right? And
yes.
But they will get the money only after 90 days.
I got it. Okay.
Got it, no?
Yes.
And never get organ theory very sound. I think I'm here now. Right. Then fourth facility. Fourth facility what is that? What are doing that? Where is it?
5,000 overhead charge.
Overhead charges, you know. Take it up in the Mugad. OD or short-term loan and then. Take it now to settle overhead charges, right? High level yonder. Again, US dollars 5,000 into how many times?
3.
Huh?
3.
How many times?
3. 4. 4.
When the 4 are we? අපි විකුණන්නේ කොච්චරද? නාර පුතා දැන් අහලා කටගත්තා විතරයි.
3 times.
3 times. 90 days වලින් සල්ලි හම්බ වෙනවනේ. නේද? You know, 3 times. කොච්චරද කියන්නේ දැන් බලන්න මෙතන 3 months කියලා මම ලියලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒතර කොච්චරද? කොච්චරද?
2.7.
Huh? වැඩි කරලා දාගන්න. මම ගාව කැල්ල එකක් නැහැ. එතකොට කී දෙන්නේ? 2.7ද? 5,000 into 3, 15,000.
2.7.
Huh?
2.7. 2.7.
2.7 million. එච්චරයි. එච්චරයි නේද? දැන් අපිට මේ ෆැසිලිටිස් කොහොමද අපේ දැන් දීලා තියෙන බාර කොච්චර මෙචුරිටි ගානක අපිට කොච්චර ෆැසිලිටිස් දෙන්න ඕනද කස්ටමර්යන්ට. දැන් මේ when we visit customers and when we check with them මෙන්න මේ වගේ දේවල් තමයි අපි කස්ටමර් ගෙන් අහන්න ඕනේ. ඒතර කස්ටමර් කියන මට මෙහෙම එයාගේ ඔක්කොම ස්ටෝරි එක කියනවා. ඒ ස්ටෝරි එක අපි ලියනවා. මේ වගේ පොයින්ට් ෆෝම් එකේ ලියනවා. ලියාගෙන ඉවරලා තමයි අපි එලා මෙයාට ෆැසිලිටිස් ටිකක් ඔෆර් කරන්නේ. මේක අපි දුන්නේ නැත්නම් එමේ මිනිහා අමාරු වෙයි. right? මේක දුන්නේ නැත්නම් ඒත් ඒ මිනිහා අමාරු වෙයි. ඒක ඒතර we'll have to give them a full package. ඒ package එක අපි හරියට හදලා දෙන්න ඕන. right? Okay. Then the balance.
So excuse.
Yeah.
So මේකේ අර USD dollar 120,000 mean කරලා තියෙන එක ඒක අපිට කොහෙටවත් අවදාළ වෙන්නේ නැත්ද?
නෑ. ඒකෙදී ඔයාලට ජොලියට බලන්න පුළුවන් කොච්චර ප්‍රොෆිට් එකක් ගත්තද කියලා.
Okay.
තේරුණාද? දැන් 100,000 නේ shipment එක. 100,000 shipment එකේ 20,000 ආවම මේ මිනිහට කොච්චර ප්‍රොෆිට් එකක් මෙයාකා හොයලා දෙනවද කියලා මම පොඩි ජොලියක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. එච්චරයි. මේ ඔන්න ඔවා තමයි ගණන් වල කරකවන්නේ. දැන් ළමයි ඔවත් හොයන්න යනවනේ. දැන් මේ 120,000 මොනවද මම මේ කරන්න කියලා. මුකුත් කරන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. අමතක කරලා දාලා නිකන් එන්න දෙන්න. අහලා නැහැනේ කොහෙවත්?
නෑ.
මේ ප්‍රොෆිට් එක අහලා නැහැ. රයිට්. ඔය වගේ මේ ජිල්මාත් දානවා. ගණන් දෙනකොට. ඔය ඊළඟ ළමයි හොයනවනේ මොකද්ද මේ කරන්නේ කියලා. How much of profit he has earned කියලා තිබුණා නම් ඔන්න එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක හැබැයි දැන් මේක දැන් තව එකක් තියෙනවා කැලලා. B, for each financial facility state the security documentation to be taken and any special conditions that you would lay down. මේක පොඩ්ඩක් දැන් ලියා ගන්න ටට්ටක් ගාලා security documentation for the first ලකේ ඔක්කොම තියෙනවා. Issuance of import LCs. What are the security documentation? Facility 1. What are the security documentation? Trade Finance General Agreement. TFJA. GA. Trade Finance General Agreement. Ekekak. Right? Then what else? The security documentation again. අපි හිතමු මේවා කියන LC application එක. LC application එක අපිට අවශ්‍ය security documentation and ඒක එහා පැත්තේ අපි කියනෝනේ they indemnify the bank නේ. LC application නම් ගන්න they indemnify the bank. That also another security documentation. ඒකෙන් අපේ LC application එකේ signature verification එකක් කරන්නේ. නේද? Signature verification කරන්නේ ඒක හරි important document එකක්. තව මොනවද තියෙන්නේ? Right. ඒ දෙක තිබ්බම කොහොමද? cash security නැතු යන්නේ ආ. ඊගාවට acceptance එකට මොකද්ද security documentation එක? Facility 2 එක. තව එකක් තියෙනවා. මේකේ terms to be taken or any special conditions that you would lay down. උනාද තව මේ first එකේ තව මොකක්ද දාන්න පුළුවන්? BL to be
Assigned to the bank.
assigned to the consigned to the bank. BL to be consigned to the bank. වෙන මොකක්ද? Right.
Insurance.
Yes, good. මම කියන්න කට ගන්නකොටම කිව්වා insurance එක. 110% insurance. Right? ඒකක් දාන්න. Right. ඊගාවට acceptance එකට මොකක්ද දාන්නේ? මොකද security documentation එක? Accepted bill of exchange. That's a financial document. නේද? Accepted bill of exchange. Accepted draft or bill of exchange. Right? ඒක ඇති වෙන මුකුත් තෝරන්න අපිට ඒක උඩ නඩුවක් දාන්නත් පුළුවන්. Short term import loan එකට
Loan agreement.
loan agreement. Very good. Loan agreement. loan agreement. ඒක indemnity එක inbuilt තියෙනවනේ loan agreement එකේ. Yeah, loan agreement. ඊගාවට මේක OD එකට ඒකත් OD or loan agreement. Right? Good. Very good. දැන් එහෙනම් next week නෑ classes. මම එන්නේ නෑ. ඊගා week එක අපි පටන් ගමු. ශ්‍රී ලංකන් කම්පැනි දැන් ඔක්කොම ගණන් ටික හදාගෙන එන්න. මට අනිත් පාඩම් යන අතරේ මේක පොඩ්ඩක් අනිත් එක දවසට එක ගානක් විතර වගේ කරමු.
Excuse me. සර් tolerance එකක් තියාගන්න එතකොට මොකට?
tolerance එකක් තියාගන්නේ අපිට දැන් බැලලා plus or minus තියාගන්න ඕනද?
ඒක ෆස්ට් එකට මේ ගන්න බැයිද සිකියුරිටි එකක් විදියට?
නෑ. tolerance එකේදී කියන්නේ තවත් අපි liability එක වැඩි කරනවා. තවත් අපේ liability එක වැඩි කරනවා. දැන් security එකක් නැහැ නේ. ඒකේ liability එකක් තව liability එකට දැන් අපේ LC කරනවා අපි 100,000 LC value plus or minus 10% කියලා තිබ්බොත් එහෙනම් අපි 110,000 වලට තමයි limit එක හදන්න ඕනේ. තේරෙනවද? අපි හදන්න ඕනේ 110,000 not to 100,000.
100,000.
You have to go for the upper limit. Right? Any more questions? Good. But I say questions.
So one more question.
Yeah.
So one more question.
Yeah.
That fourth one, that should be 4 months, no? Not 3 months. I think we have to calculate that up to the end of the period. Means that until we receive the money from the sale. So
if we assume that we have sold everything on the very first day when it landed to the country, even අපි හිතන්නේ ඔක්කොම මේ අපි assume කරනවා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙම විකුණුවොත් we will get the money only after 3 months. On the 90th day, අපිට we'll get the money. 90 days credit term. Right? So 90 days means 3 months.
3 months. Okay.
ඉස්සලා ගානේ 4 months වුණා. මේක 3 months එන්නේ. Any more questions? මේ ගාන්ටි කරන්න ඕන ඔයගොල්ලෝ තනියෙන්. Then only you will do it. Then you get the experience. 17th la campus හරිනවා. Most probably next month යනකොට මම මේ class එකක් දෙකක් දානවා. Let's meet up. මේ නැත්තම් මේ forex ගණන් එහෙම කරන්න හරි අමාරුයි. මට ඔයගොල්ලොත් එක පිටිපස්සේ ඉඳගෙන එක ළමයා කරන එක බලන් ඉඳලා කරන්න ඕන. මම මේ පොරොටු ගණන නෙමෙයිනේ. එතකොට බලමු අනික ඉතින් ඔයගොල්ලෝ තාස ඇතිනේ. සර් නාකි වෙලාද නැද්ද උනාරි බලලා ඉන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. Right. Okay then. Then on the next week after that, we'll meet. Thank you very much and good night for all of you.